Yo, what is up, everybody? It's Thursday, December 8th. I got to clear my throat because I got in last night from hanging out with a bunch of dealers, but we got dealer sentiment, Carvana, Apple Encryption, and Lego to talk about today. How's that for a mix?
All over the place. And somehow it all gets back to auto. And, you know.
Doesn't everything get back to auto, though?
You know,
really?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I think you and I could tie just about everything back to auto in one way, shape, or form. Not everything, but just about everything.
Yeah, maybe not like Ukraine and Russia. I mean, we probably could.
Are you kidding me?
We tied that back to auto. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fine.
We literally tied that back to auto.
There you go.
Oh, man. My flight got in so late last night. I hate taking the last flight of the day anywhere because, like the domino effects happen. And that last flight is always the one that's going to be late. But it was super cool. I got
especially in the Northeast. You're done.
I mean,
I was like, man, he always gets. I told my wife last night, I was like, he always gets delayed on his late flights. And she was like, yeah,
out of the north,
Syracuse.
It has to do with Savannah, Georgia, is why the flight was delayed.
Is it really?
Yeah, the flight got delayed in Georgia, which is why it was late to Newark. It's so strangely like not the Northeast right now. It's like 50 degrees and like it's just a weird time.
Talk about the weather. I'm gonna have to mow my lawn again next week. It's been 60 degrees and rainy.
Oh,
my grass
that's
has got another
bummer.
2 inches on it. It's unbelievable.
See, the nice thing about the Northeast is like at some point the snow just covers it and flattens it all, and it's like even if you didn't get that last mowing, like you don't really care about it until the spring.
Right? Yeah, we don't get that. Spring's coming in February. Welcome to it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, I was able to spend some time on the ground yesterday with one of the regions, the West region of Sioka dealerships, which is now 40 stores. And they had this, it was like a fixed ops celebration at dinner. They do it once a quarter. They used to try to do it all together, but now they're kind of spread out too far to make it plausible to have everybody come in at the end of the day. And fixed ops isn't like a breakfast. That's a sales thing. Like, can you imagine getting the fixed ops department together?
They're already up at breakfast doing turning wrenches, right?
Yeah, there'd be mass hysteria at the door. People are like, "Yo, where are you at?" So, but it was really interesting because they gave away about cumulative. There's probably like 150 people there, maybe 150 to 200, and they gave away about $35,000 to $40,000 worth of awards and prizes based on like top performers with ROs. But they had techs, advisors, BDC. They had the recruiting team there. Like they really did. They wrapped their arms around the whole thing. It was really amazing to watch and a really interesting dynamic in an area when dealers are all consolidating, right? There's a lot of acquisition going on. Like 2/3 of that room were kind of newly acquired stores. And so like that's
interesting. That's an interesting feeling because like when you're acquiring that fast, just like assuming the culture and then also bringing in that new culture feel is that's a powerful thing. It's a hard thing to do for sure.
Well, especially in fixed ops. I don't know how much time you spend around fixed ops folks, Kyle. And I know it's been a lot, but they tend to be the more skeptical type.
Right. They're like, who's around the
corner? So there's a lot of the crossed arms, like leaning back, like show me, don't tell me. Right.
Oh, that's
so
great.
So it was really interesting getting to speak to that crowd. And like, I didn't know that was the case going in. And the moment I realized it was like mid talk, when I was like, I was talking about Mr. Sioka and how odd it is to have like someone who is so in the dirt on a group this size. And, during COVID, he called every single one of his employees, every single one, to see if they were okay, to see if they needed anything. I'm like, raise your hand if you got a call from Mr. C, right? I'm like, only like 20% of the room went up. And I was like, well, either you don't want to raise your hand or he lied to me. I said, and that's what I realized that's what
it was. All new people, right? Yeah.
Cool part is that when you see these great groups like acquiring like these other stores, like they're about to find out how good it's been for them and how good it's going to be for their future. So, we've got some interviews we're going to share with you. I think I interviewed our first ever parts director on a SODU content. Yep. I can't think of another one. So we're going to bring that to you. And it was just, when we can be in the dirt, you were in the dirt the day before. I was in the dirt yesterday. We got a lot of new content coming to you today. All right. Enough of like the little sum of, why we're doing what we're doing.
We got to get into some stuff. We got to get into some stuff.
All right. Year-end extravaganza coming in real hot, less than 2 weeks away. December 20th, mark your calendar. 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing a Jimmy Fallon style live stream, live studio audience, live guests. We're going to talk about 2022. look ahead to 2023, have some giveaways. So make sure that you go to asotu.com, click on the links, follow the event on LinkedIn, whatever you want to be eligible for the giveaways, because amongst other things, there's a PS5 sitting right to my left here that we will be giving away, and we'll get it to you in time for Christmas. Maybe we'll even wrap it. So
it's got to be quick. Here we
go.
All
right, let's talk about some news in automotive.
For
today, the quarterly Cox Automotive Dealer Sentiment Survey of 1,000 franchise and independent dealers. It's about like 600 franchise, 400 independents. Communicates a few things. Number one, profits remaining strong. However, concerns and sentiment are definitely changing, specifically over interest rates and the overall economy. We've been talking about those two things for a long time, but now it's kind of getting to a point where it seems like sentiment is starting to be affected by it. Mid 2021, lack of inventory had been the top concern on the list, and now it is no longer the top concern, which makes
definitely not. Everybody's like, okay, hold on. Remember the whole thing where we were like concerned over lack of inventory? Press that back a minute.
Right. So affordability is still, we've talked about affordability all year, but it's coming back to the forefront with a lot of momentum. New vehicle prices are holding, but incentives, pressure to incentivize are rising. Needs for sales responsiveness is growing. This is a conversation I had a lot yesterday, and we've been having a lot with dealers. We're gonna have to sell cars again.
Yeah, when things like when cars like Rogues have incentives, when people have 100 new cars sitting on the lot again, and multiple cars in multiple different areas, it's not every dealer, but I think that we're seeing more and more dealers, especially on the American-made cars, have inventory on ground, and it's just the idea of like, hey, look, we've got to do the work again. Earl Stewart is kind of working on expanding training sessions for sales staff, because they're recognizing, hey, a lot of the salespeople have either only been in during this inventory shortage or have kind of become order takers by nature of the way the business has gone. And not that salespeople have done anything wrong or bad. It's just the way the nature of the business has gone. And so it's just a refocus on the intention of, being product professionals, understanding moving someone through the road to the purchase. All of those things are things that people are looking at over these next 90 days and really taking a focus to make sure that they're dialed in and processes and understanding their inventory and understanding what they have to do for pricing. It's just like, we were talking yesterday just about how even marketing and the intention on marketing and understanding age inventory is just shifting with everyone that we're talking to. And this study kind of shows that a lot more dealers are thinking about that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, how many times have we heard that? I don't know. Have you ever played basketball after not playing basketball for a really long time?
Yeah, it's real bad.
Right. Always it's like muscle memory. Yeah, that dribble is rough, man. It is rough. You're like bouncing it off your foot and it kicks out about, all the things. And some dealers, we've talked to have been like, I have salespeople that just never had to sell a car, right? They've only existed as a salesperson in the environment where it's like, hey, if you don't buy it, I have 3 more people that are going to buy it. And they're just relieved when they call that the car's still there. So they're like, put my name on it. Here's the deposit. So the winds are definitely shifting. And what the sentiment is amongst the savvy dealers is they know that leaning in and being savvy operators in these times are the ones that are going to gain the market share. So challenging times, dealers think challenging times ahead, but I think we're a little bit used to challenging times. Speaking of challenging times.
Yeah.
Segue time.
I hesitated in putting the story in because I don't want to just be like, tossing stones or anything.
Pile on the rabbit. Right.
Pile on
Not
the
at
rabbit.
all.
And I think we can kind of talk about this well in a way that serves the industry and serves the point of the story. But Carvana stock price, if you haven't heard, is completely reeling after a pact made from a few of their lead investment firms that hold about $4 billion of their debt. What they've essentially done is created a pact to only negotiate any level of restructuring of their debt for the next 90 days with each other. So they're not individually operating with Carvana and trying to restructure the debt and jockey for position and repayment or anything like that.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yesterday, the stock price closed at under $4 for the first time, and there are multiple sources that have put their target price at $1 at this point, which would essentially put them in a liquidity issue and almost forced to bankruptcy or complete restructuring or acquisition of new debt. So that's kind of the story as the way it goes, and the industry's looking at it in a few different ways. There are some kind of going, "I told you so," which is, I don't think, the best way to look at it, right? Just from that's my opinionated piece of this news this morning. But what we do know is that this is going to have an impact on the auto industry, and Carvana has had an impact on the way the auto industry has been operating over the last couple of years. So it's important to continue to pay attention to this story in the way that consumers perceive it, as well as the used car market.
There's when thinking about, or I would encourage you to, like, along with Kyle's lines, like when you're commentating on this on LinkedIn, talking to one another, I would encourage you to just think of, like, how is what I'm saying and how I'm handling the situation actually serving us to move forward, right? Because look what happened doesn't do that. It actually kind of leaves us thinking in a different mindset. I saw one LinkedIn post. I was just working to pull it up here while you were talking about that. Benjamin Jeffries of the Hallman Auto Group said, many dealers are rejoicing today as rumors of Carvana's imminent bankruptcy swirl through showrooms across the country. Says, and while I too see a new market opportunity for our dealer group, that's in a good position. And a little bit enjoy seeing someone who took cheap shots, go down. He says, I think it's worth taking a minute to remember the reasons Carvana was able to do well for so long. And he talks about the customer experience, and like a lot of people enjoyed that experience, and think of all the things that it showed us about what people want, and even got us to the point where how we do things today. So, like,
how many people in the auto industry have said, I want my website to look like more like Carvana. We need to be thinking about online deliveries. We need to be thinking about a delivery network. We need to have
have a trade-in process that actually is very fast and efficient.
Fast trade-in process. Our industry has been affected, and I believe for the good, based on what Carvana has done. Now, I saw also a LinkedIn post and then had a couple conversations with people that are saying, hey, look, if they are forced to liquidate their current assets, meaning their vehicles, in order to repay some of their debt, it will have a massive impact on an already waning used car a wholesale market. So something to look out for. Even though you might be able to acquire some vehicles for an inexpensive cost because of the liquidation of inventory from a company like Carvana, watch how the used car market may shift. We already saw the market was down 14.6% in wholesale based on the Manheim index last month. So this could have another shift toward that over the next 90 days. And we could see a used car market that it looks completely different going into the spring. So just something to be eyeing, that it's not just the impact because of their wide scale and their broad reaching kind of inventory holdings. It could have a larger impact on the used car industry as a whole.
There you go. I wish I had a segue here, because this is just I don't have a segue, so I'm just gonna go stop.
There you go. The next segue, let's just say this: we got a couple fun ones to end the day. We've kind of been we've been all.
The last one's fun. The next one could be terrifying, depending on how you are with passwords. End-to-end encryption is coming to Apple's iCloud backup for their device suite, meaning that the user will be responsible for data recovery, not the company. So my mother-in-law, I just have to tell her, don't bother encryption, just take the hack. Because basically it's going to be much more like it is in crypto, where you have the key, the password, the passphrase, whatever it's going to be, so that if you lose that, you lose your data. And what that does is makes it super secure, because there is no recovery other than your responsibility to keep that thing safe. So some people are like, yes, finally my data will be safe. And
there are three modes of recovery, just as a note.
So are there?
Utilize
what are they?
Yeah. So I can't remember the third one, but the other one that a lot of people will be using is kind of like a close contact. So if you have a spouse or a family member or a really good friend, you can actually, if they have an iPhone as well, you can put them as a backup recovery code assistant.
Gotcha.
So they would be able to use
Verify
like
that you are
yes,
you and all that
exactly.
stuff.
So, you know, really what it does is it takes the onus. Now, it's not required. It's something that any user would have to turn on. But with, I mean, shoot, our family utilizes iCloud for the majority of everything, you know, that is on our Apple devices.
Us too.
And when you think about that, like the amount of storage, even especially over the next 5 years, as our kids start to get into like having devices and things like that, our
just let me just
photos,
tell you,
all of
it's
that.
going to get ridiculous.
Yep.
Gonna
Yeah,
get ridiculous.
it's absolutely wild how much data is going to get stored in the cloud, and being able to have that kind of data locked down, I think is a really smart thing. And you know, it's a 28 key encryption code, and so you know, hey, it's just the way that when you're operating with data at that type of scale on a personal level, it's smart to have.
Say that. Speaking of smart to have.
Stop.
Segue.
Time.
Hey, so this next story, Isaac, are you in the room still? Isaac's producing the show. Isaac, bring yourself on screen for a second, because this story is for you. If you've never met Isaac puts this show together every day and make sure Kyle and I, you can see us and hear us. And we put this story in just for him, because you can see on his shirt, he's got his own YouTube channel about Lego. He's got Lego all over his desk. So Lego has gone EV. Finally, Isaac, you're keeping up now with their electric sports car set. So now it's official. There's a picture of it. I walked in and Isaac had Lego on his screen. I was like, this one's just for you, baby. Isaac, what is your take on the Lego EV set? Are you going to buy this thing?
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
a $10 sports car. I mean, there's much bigger ones that are cooler out there. But I will say it is very interesting that they went EV with this, because it's like, you know, a lot of every car set they've done in the past has been like this gas-powered, like sportsy car. So I was thinking about when I saw this was, it's like, is Lego trying to be like, hey, the world is moving EV. When kids grow up, they're going to be like, oh, I played with the EV car when I was younger. Maybe I'll want that when I grow up. So I don't know. That was the thought I had.
I tell you what, you just made the absolute reason why EV automakers should be investing in Lego co-brands, because if you want
it's influencing your purchase decision.
Unbelievable. What a genius
Isaac,
way
it
to bring
is.
that back and
That
tie it on
one's
in.
for free. Isaac, does Lego have anything where there's like an electric solar panel that actually works, like that powers a battery or a motor?
I mean, like an actual electric
And
solar.
a real solar,
No,
like you put it in
no.
the sunlight and it turns a
No.
little actuator. Lego, that one's for free too.
They have electric vehicles you can build, like RC cars and stuff, but no, they've never made an electric
Nothing
solar
that's
panel.
actually, yeah, they've been electric. They don't even have a gas powered thing. They've been electric forever. Isaac, what's your YouTube channel where you talk about Lego?
Bricking Up Brad. You can find
Bricking
that.
Up Brad.
Yep.
Bricking Up Brad. All right, thanks for dropping in there. Sorry to surprise you there, but I'm pretty sure you're okay with it. Well, that's all we have today. We got a lot of things to do, but the main thing is stay in touch with the people in your stores, in your showrooms, on your website. Every story ties back to that, because everything ties back to automotive.